Hello everybody and welcome back to Full House Sports. Here myself, Charlie. Before the video starts, please like, comment and subscribe. Anything you guys do is greatly appreciated as I try and become a one-man sports news bandwagon. Now, I've had a hectic weekend again, so apologies for the lack of uploads and etc, etc. But now that's out of the way, I'm back on it. The thing I wanted to talk about was some of the weekend's boxing action, because Carlos Adames was very destructive in defeating Austin Amo Williams. Of course, the fight was rescheduled. It was originally supposed to take place on the Shakur Teo undercard on January 31st. It didn't. Adames fell ill. The fight then took place at Caribe Royale Casino on Saturday, well, the early hours of Sunday morning. And gotta admit, I didn't watch the fight live. I've watched the highlights and I've watched the fight replay. And Adames did what Adames, and I expected him to do, a lot of other fighters, a lot of other people in boxing, expect him to do. And that was win, and win destructively. He, I think, is one of these fighters, Adames, who is going criminally under the radar. Now, whether that's due to, and again, I've often said it, whether that's due to his lack of English, I don't know, because it does make him sometimes less marketable, shall we say. He comes from the Dominican Republic, which isn't the most, it's not like Puerto Rico, let's say, where you could take him there. I mean, you probably could take him back to Dominican Republic, but he's not going to have necessarily the infrastructure and things to hold fights there, to hold a big fight like that. I mean, you could, but you wouldn't be able to. You might not be able to. And again, I wonder with the Adames as well, whether he lacks a dance partner, because obviously with Janabek getting the drugs test fail early on, well, no, late last year, it means that really in the middleweight division, he is lacking dance partners. The IBF and the WBO are vacant, I believe, at present. Erislandy Lara is the WBA champion. I can't really see him taking on Adames. So the problem is for him is he's not really got a dance partner. And it's unfortunate, to be honest, because he's a supremely skilled fighter who I thought beat Hamza Shiraz in Saudi Arabia. I really did. I thought that, you know, it was quite a bad look that Frank Warren and His Excellency were giving instructions to Hamza in the corner. That wasn't a great look. And I actually thought Adames, like I say, won that fight. But the problem is at middleweight is who he takes on, because there's not many out there at the minute, many big names. You know, could he tempt any of these super welterweights up? Again, not necessarily, because he's not a big name, so to speak. So I do feel sorry for him in that aspect. It was a brilliant win, though, over Amo. I wonder with Amo if he's going to be a little bit, maybe like, again, it feels like a lazy comparison, maybe a bit like a Danny Jacobs. Just not quite good enough for that elite level. Obviously, we've seen him now lose to Hamza Shiraz. We've seen him now lose to Adames. Both pretty wide victories. Well, Hamza Shiraz stopped him, of course, and Adames beating him on points. It's a tough one, really, to call, but I just came away from it thinking with Adames, I hope maybe Eddie Hearn picks him up and starts to say this guy's really avoided, markets him well, promotes him really well. That would be ideal for him, because, and like I say, I just think at the minute he's really going. He's the WBC middleweight champion. That's a pretty prestigious task to hold. You know, Marvin Hagler had that belt for a while. Carlos Monzon, all the greats have had that belt. And at the minute, the middleweight division is weak compared to when you think 10 years ago when Golovkin was going around and you had Sergio Martinez and Daniel Gill and all those guys around that could have sprinted by. Cotto came up, didn't he, and fought in that division. You had Canelo in the weight below but was coming up. Now we don't have that. And I feel for Adames, because he's now in an era where he might have to go up to super middleweight, or he's going to have to try and see if he can tempt to super welterweight. But it's going to be very hard, I think, because he's in the who needs him club, unfortunately. And that's a real shame. But he got the job done. Hopefully we see him out soon, because he didn't take a lot of damage in this fight. He was pretty destructive in it. So hopefully we see him out soon. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Anything you guys do is greatly appreciated. As I try to become a one-man sports news bandwagon. As always, have a great day.